Spring 1917. Europe is locked in the grinding, brutal stalemate of the First World War. In Portugal, that global crisis is compounded by deep civil unrest and economic hardship. Against this bleak backdrop, three young shepherds tending their family's sheep in the rural fields of Cava da Iria reported an extraordinary event. Lucia, Francisco, and Jacinta claimed to have been visited by a woman all in white, more brilliant than the sun. Their accounts provoked immediate hostility. Local authorities, deeply suspicious of any gathering that might cause political disruption, mocked the children. By August, the local administrator had them detained and jailed. Yet the crowds only grew. The lady had promised a sign to convince the public, and on October 13th, tens of thousands of people gathered in the pouring rain. That afternoon, the massive crowd reported witnessing the sun dart and zigzag across the sky, an event recorded as the miracle of the sun. Following canonical investigations, the Catholic Church formally approved the apparitions in 1927. What began as a local curiosity in a Portuguese sheep field became a subject of serious theological study. The core of that study revolves around a three-part message given to the children in July 1917. The first part, the first secret, was an instantaneous, terrifying vision of hell, described by the children as a great sea of fire. Sister Lucia's later written account is unflinching. She wrote that they saw demons and souls in human form plunged in this fire, falling back on every side like sparks in a huge fire, amid shrieks and groans of pain and despair. The Church views this vision as a mother's warning, meant to underscore the gravity of spiritual loss. To prevent this, the lady offered a specific, actionable remedy. She asked the children to pray the Rosary daily and to make personal sacrifices to aid in the conversion of sinners. This establishes the foundation of the Fatima message. Before addressing the fate of nations, the focus is placed squarely on the individual. Global peace in this framework relies entirely on personal conversion. Once the stakes for the individual soul are set, the second part of the message drastically scales up to address geopolitical disaster. The lady predicted that while the First World War would soon end, a worse one would break out during the pontificate of Pope Pius XI if humanity did not alter its course. She specifically warned that a country currently in the throes of revolution, Russia, would spread its errors throughout the world, causing wars and persecutions of the Church. This was a direct prediction of the immense damage atheistic totalitarianism would soon inflict globally. The prophecy included a physical warning sign, a night illuminated by an unknown light. On January 25, 1938, a massive blood-red aurora borealis appeared over Europe. Sister Lucia immediately recognized this as the predicted signal that God was about to punish the world by means of war. Long before the Second World War began or the Iron Curtain fell, Fatima provided a spiritual framework for understanding the 20th century's most destructive political movements. To combat this global catastrophe, the lady returned with two specific requests: devotion to her Immaculate Heart and the official consecration of Russia to that heart. This diagram illustrates the concept of the Immaculate Heart. In biblical theology, the heart is the center of human life. An Immaculate Heart represents a state of perfect interior unity, where human reason, will, and sensitivity are entirely aligned with the will of God. To foster this, Lucia was instructed to spread the First Saturday's devotion, a practice of receiving communion, confessing, and praying on the first Saturday of 5 consecutive months. This acts as spiritual reparation, giving individuals a tangible role in changing the course of history. The broader request, the consecration of Russia, was eventually carried out by Pope John Paul II in 1984. Sister Lucia personally confirmed in a 1989 letter that this solemn act fulfilled the lady's original request. Through these requests, Fatima asserts that human history is entirely malleable. The macro-level destruction threatened by totalitarianism can be countered by micro-level spiritual obedience. For decades, the third and final part of the Fatima secret remained sealed, sparking endless public speculation about apocalyptic predictions. That ended in the year 2000, when the Vatican officially released the text. The original manuscript does not detail the end of the world. Instead, it opens with an angel holding a flaming sword that seems ready to set the world on fire. But the flames die out upon meeting the splendor of the Lady, as the angel cries out in a loud voice, "Penance, penance, penance." The children then saw what they described as a bishop dressed in white, a figure they understood to be the Pope. Alongside other bishops, priests, and religious figures, he is shown ascending a steep mountain, passing through a large city half in ruins, praying for the souls of the corpses he passes along the way. Reaching the top of the mountain, the Pope kneels at the foot of a large wooden cross. There he is killed by a group of soldiers, firing bullets and arrows. The vision ends with two angels gathering the blood of the martyrs into crystal aspersoriums, using it to sprinkle the souls making their way to God. This imagery compresses a century of persecution into a single, harrowing way of the cross. Cardinal Joseph Ratzinger, the future Pope Benedict XVI, provided the Church's theological commentary on this vision. He explained that these images are a symbolic compression of historical suffering. This interpretation aligns closely with the events of May 13, 1981, when an assassin shot Pope John Paul II in St. Peter's Square. The Pope, who barely survived, credited the Mother's Hand of Fatima with guiding the bullet's path, viewing himself as the bishop in white struck down in the vision. This diagram illustrates how the third secret focuses on mobilizing human freedom. It suggests that prayer and human action can actively divert the path of history away from destruction. Sister Lucia, the final surviving witness, lived a long life as a Carmelite nun, passing away in 2005 at the age of 97. She lived to see her childhood visions officially revealed, interpreted, and embedded into the fabric of modern history. Fatima remains an ongoing summons. It asserts that the power of merciful love can transform human conscience and
overall a human soul.